Welcome to the Mindfulness Within Podcast. This podcast is the podcast for people who want to heal, connect with their true self, and cultivate lasting inner peace. I'm your host, Gilbert Romero-Mewharter, with over 20 years of experience working with children and caregivers. If you're longing to live deeper alignment with your authentic self, you're in the right place. Today's episode is all about one of the most misunderstood and often avoided parts of our inner system, the inner critic. You probably know that one, the voice in your head that tells you you're not good enough, that you should be doing better, or that you're falling short somehow. But what if I told you this part isn't out to hurt you, but is actually trying to protect you? Through the lens of internal family systems therapy, and with the support of mindfulness, we're going to explore how we can gently befriend the inner critic, understand its purpose, and begin a healing dialogue that opens the door to transformation. So take a deep breath, and let's begin. Let's begin by deepening our understanding of the inner critic. In internal family systems, the inner critic is not just one voice. It's often a group of protective parts working behind the scenes. There may be a perfectionist critic, a guilt-inducing critic, a shaming critic, or a taskmaster part that pushes you constantly. Each one has its own strategy and tone, but their core purpose is the same: to protect you. These critic parts often develop early in life. They may have learned their strategies from the environments we grew up in, perhaps from critical caregivers, harsh school environments, or cultural pressures that valued achievement over authenticity. Over time, their messages become internalized, and we begin to confuse their voices with our own truth. One key thing to remember is this: the inner critic is not your enemy. While its methods can be hurtful, it's usually trying to protect a more vulnerable part of you, often in exile. For example, a perfectionist part might be working hard to make sure you never get rejected again, because long ago, rejection felt unbearable. A shaming critic might believe that if it keeps you small and self-aware, you won't make mistakes that lead to pain. This is where IFS differs from many traditional approaches. Instead of silencing the critic or trying to eliminate it, we get to know it. We form a relationship with it. Through mindful connection, we begin to understand what it's protecting and how it came to hold its role. When we approach the inner critic with genuine curiosity and compassion, something remarkable happens. These parts begin to trust the self. They don't have to work so hard. They can even shift into new, more helpful roles, like encouraging you with care instead of criticism. So how do we actually begin to work with the inner critic using mindfulness? Mindfulness gives us the essential first skill, awareness. When the critic starts talking, maybe when you look in the mirror, make a mistake, or hesitate before trying something new, mindfulness helps you notice it in real time without becoming overwhelmed by it. might pause and say, I hear that voice. I'm noticing that part of me is being really critical right now. That moment of awareness always begins the process of healing. You're no longer fused with the critic. You're observing it. This is what we call unblending in IFS. Then comes the second step, curiosity. Mindfulness teaches us to be present without judgment, and IFS builds on that by inviting us to ask questions like, what is this part afraid would happen if it didn't criticize me? How long has this part been doing this job? What is it trying to protect me from? These aren't analytical questions. They're invitations for dialogue. You're not interrogating the part. You're listening. Just as you would sit down with a worried child or stressed out friend, you approach the critic with kindness and openness. You might be surprised by what you hear. Many people discover that their inner critic is exhausted. It's been carrying a burden for years, even decades. When you listen with compassion, the critic may soften, revealing the tender pain it's been trying to shield you from all along. Mindfulness is what allows this to happen. By being grounded in the present moment, by staying connected to the breath and body, you remain anchored even as intense emotions or memories surface. You become a calm, compassionate presence, what IFS calls the self, capable of holding space for all your parts. And over time, this relationship with the inner critic transforms. You move from inner conflict to inner cooperation. The critic begins to trust your self-leadership, and rather than driving you with fear, it can start to support you with wisdom. This is the path of healing. Not fighting your parts, but befriending them. If you like what you're hearing, please go ahead, push that subscribe button, and pass it on to your friends. Now that we've explored the nature of the inner critic and how mindfulness helps us understand it, let's move into some guided practices that integrate both approaches. These are not just one-time exercises. They're tools that you can return to anytime the inner critic shows up. Remember, you don't need to force anything. Just let your experience unfold naturally. Your only job here is to be present, open, and kind. As always, please don't do these exercises while driving or operating machinery. Give yourself a safe, quiet space to be with whatever arises. So, in this first exercise, we're going to identify the inner critic. Let's begin with a simple awareness practice to notice where the inner critic is active. Take a few deep, slow breaths. Inhaling through your nose. Gently exhaling through your mouth. Feeling your body grounding to the surface beneath you. Let your shoulders soften. Now bring to mind a recent moment when you felt judged, inadequate, or pressured to do better. It could be something small or significant, just whatever arises. As you recall that moment, see if you can hear or sense the voice of the inner critic. What did it say? Did it sound harsh, disappointment, or fearful? Now bring your mindful attention to the tone of the critic. Is it angry, scared, sad? Notice where you feel this part in your body. Is there tightness in your chest? Pressure in your head? Tension in your neck? Now gently ask this part, what are you trying to protect me from? How long have you been doing this job? You don't need to force an answer. Just listen. Even if you get no response, know that just asking builds trust with your inner world. Let this part know you're here, that you want to understand, and that it doesn't have to do this all alone anymore. So in this second exercise, we're going to be doing some unblending and creating space. So let's practice unblending. Separating yourself from the inner critic so you can witness it with more clarity. Visualize the inner critic as a distinct character. Maybe it looks like someone you once knew, or maybe it has a symbolic form, like a stern teacher, a foggy cloud, or even buzzing energy. Whatever image comes to mind is okay. Now imagine this part is sitting across from you. You, the self, are sitting calmly, anchored in compassion. Notice how it feels to create the space between you and the part. It's no longer fused with your identity. You are not the inner critic. You are the one listening to it. Now ask, what are you afraid would happen if you didn't criticize me? What do you need from me in order to feel safe? Let the answers arise. If the part doesn't trust you yet, that's okay. Let it know you're not here to exile or silence it, just to listen. If you can, offer it a word or gesture of gratitude. Even if its methods are outdated, it's been trying to help. Breathe into spaces between you and this part. Feel the calm strength of yourself holding steady. In this final exercise, we're going to do some reparenting of the exiled part. So let's turn our attention to the vulnerable part the inner critic is protecting. what IFS calls the exile. Often underneath the harshness of the critic is a younger part carrying deep shame, fear, or sadness. These parts have been rejected, shamed, or misunderstood early in life, and the critic stepped in to prevent that pain from happening again. As you sit quietly, ask the inner critic, who are you protecting? Let your awareness settle on what arises. It could be a younger version of you, a memory, or simply a feeling. Imagine this younger part appearing before you. Notice how old they seem, how they're feeling, and what they need. Now, from the compassionate self, gently speak to that part. You didn't do anything wrong. You are safe now. You are worthy of love and care. Let the words come from your heart. You don't need to fix or rescue the part. Just be with it. Your presence is enough. If emotions arise, welcome them. They are signs of connection and release. Let yourself breathe through the experience. When you feel ready, thank the parts for their trust and bravery. Let them know you'll keep coming back to listen and care for them. These exercises may feel simple, but their power lies in consistency and intention. Over time, your inner critic may begin to soften. The exile it protects may feel seen, and your relationship with yourself can become more spacious, compassionate, and whole. You don't have to do all three at once. Healing happens in small, courageous moments of attention. Keep coming back to your breath, to yourself, and to your parts with care and curiosity. If you want to learn more exercises, go ahead and click subscribe and share that with friends. As we come to the close of this episode, I want to take a moment to honor the courage it takes to explore your inner world, especially when it involves voices that have been harsh, heavy, or hidden for a long time. Working with the inner critic through the lens of IFS and mindfulness is not about silencing or defeating that part of you. It is about healing the system from within. When we meet our inner critic with presence, curiosity, and compassion, we unlock the potential for profound transformation. The part that once criticized you can, over time, become a powerful ally, one that supports you with discernment, not fear, with clarity, not control. And just as importantly, when we create space for that exiled part beneath the critic, perhaps the younger you who just wanted love, safety, and acceptance, we begin the beautiful, ongoing work of reparenting. We build trust with ourselves we build integration. Mindfulness gives us the capacity to do this. It helps us stay anchored when emotions arise. It teaches us to listen instead of react. It trains us to return again and again to the present moment, where healing happens. If this episode resonated with you, take a moment today, even just 5 minutes, to sit with a part of yourself. Offer it the same kindness you might offer a close friend. You don't have to know what to say. Simply being there is enough. Trust yourself, your calm, connected, compassionate essence is capable of leading the way. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are not alone. You are a beautifully complex being with many parts, and each one has a story, a reason, and a longing to be seen. If you found this episode helpful, I encourage you to share it with someone you care about. Leave a review or subscribe to the podcast so we can continue this journey together. If you're feeling called to go deeper into this work, I invite you to start journaling about your parts or seeking it out an IFS-informed therapist like myself who can walk with you as you explore this terrain. Remember, healing doesn't come from fixing your parts. It comes from listening to them. And yourself already holds everything you need to begin. Thank you for being here. Thank you for showing up for yourself. Until next time, be gentle with your inner world. You are whole. You are enough. And you are deeply worthy of your own love and attention.